Hey, this is Shane from Legal Edge, and we're talking about intake sales process. This is video number 3 in this series. If you've got questions on who ought to be answering your phone, what their authority ought to be, check out those other videos, okay? Now, today, what happens if they don't sign with you? And let me say that again. What happens if those clients don't sign with you on day one? What is your process? What are you doing about those? And, we have a couple different options that when we talk to law firms that tell us what they do, right? Some, they just write them off. Okay, they didn't hire me, they hired somebody else. So they just close that out. It's done. That intake is gone, all right? Some of them are going to send them a thank you card, right? Hey, thanks for the consult. If you change your mind, let me know, right? We see this sometimes in family law. It's big. It's also big in criminal to do it this way sometimes, just to thank you. If you change your mind, come back. Happens a lot in the criminal section when people just didn't have the money, okay? Others will mark it down with more sophisticated. They'll mark it down to follow up with that client in a week and say, hey, I just want to touch base, make sure you don't need our services, and go from there. Some of them will call tomorrow. Hey, did you think it over? Let me call you. Or they're going to say, hey, you had these questions. Let me talk to you about it. And then some of them will send them an email and text, right? Just to follow up. And some of them will call later on that day or tomorrow, okay? Others are going to have what I would call a shock and awe package they can send them, right? So they're not going to close that conversation with a shutdown like, hey, you didn't hire me. It's going to be, hey, let me think this over. And you're like, cool, can I send you some information? And zip, they've got their shock and awe package. We'll talk about shock and awes in another video and what that ought to be. But every law firm owner should have one. All right, every single client needs, or every single law firm needs a shock and awe package. But your sales process, when you didn't close the sale, what are you going to do? I'm going to recommend you follow up with those clients, okay? And I'm not going to recommend you follow up with them a week. I'm going to follow up with them the next day. Unless they just told you, hey, I don't want to hire you, I'm going to leave that intake open as a possibility. And on a follow-up with that client, I'm going to give them some extra information. Either my shock and awe package is going to come over to them. I'm going to start dripping on them with some kind of follow-up campaign so they get more information. They're better educated, which also, since it's education I developed, increases my authority, okay? So this is Shane from the Legal Edge. This is our intake series of videos on how to improve your intake. Tomorrow we're going to have another video on what happens if you don't sign them up, or what happens if they don't have a problem in your practice area.